Chapter 31. Scarface was stunned for a while, then he slowly took out his mobile phone and called Lintianu. He didn't know who David was, but he didn't dare to let him call Lintianu. Soon, the phone was connected, and Lintianu's lazy voice came from the opposite side. Obviously, it was time, and Lintianu hadn't gotten up yet. Master Tiger, someone is making trouble in Antique Street, saying he knows you, let me call you. Scarface said cautiously. Who are you? What's your name? Lintianu asked. I don't know what his name is, but he wears a copper ring on his hand with a dragon on it, and it seems that there is a command word, ask me if I recognize it. Scarface said. Grass. Lintianu jumped off the bed with a squeak when he heard it. Scarface, I tell you, you have served this man for a long time for me, if you dare to make him unhappy, I will kill you. Family, you remembered it for me. After Lintianu finished speaking, he hung up the phone, put on his clothes, and hurried towards Antique Street. Scarface listened to the busy voice on the other side, and his expression changed. He had followed Lintianu for more than 10 years, and he had never seen Lintianu in such a panic. Putting down the phone, Scar's face looked at David, and the whole person was shaking like a sieve. Brother Scar, this guy is just talking nonsense. How could Master Tiger know such a stunned young man? He just lied to you, hurry up and get the jade back. The fat stall owner hadn't noticed the strangeness of Scar's face, so he looked at David with disdain and said. Snapped. Just finished speaking, Scarface gave the fat stall owner a slap in the face. You ba 5 tard, what nonsense is, it's obviously you who buy and sell, don't think I don't know, I think you don't want to stay here anymore. The fat stall owner was slapped in the face by the Scar, and he was directly slapped in a circle. He didn't know what happened, but some shrewd people seemed to see something at this time, and knew that David must have a very hard backstage. Sir, I'm really sorry just now, you rest first, our Tiger Lord will be here soon. Scar followed David with a flattering face. He didn't know David, and he didn't know that David was the master of their dragon sect. In fact, many members of Jui Hall didn't even know that they were members of the dragon sect. These were all secrets, and only a few insiders knew about them. As soon as David heard that Lintianu was coming, he planned to wait a while. He searched blindly like him, not knowing when he would find the spirit pen in Cinnabar. Since Lintianu is covering the Antique Street, he must be familiar with the things here, so David planned to ask Lintianu. Don't hurry up and bring a chair for Mr. Scarface kicked the fat stall owner fiercely. Oh. The fat stall owner was stupid, and hurriedly moved a chair from the room and let David sit down. About 10 minutes later, there was a sudden break sound, and Lintianu opened the door and ran over. Everyone looked at Lintianu coming, all lowered their heads, and no one dared to carry them away, while Lintianu ran to David and panted, Diane, Mr. Chen, when you come to Antique Street, let me know in advance. I'm still with you, I'm familiar with this area. I'm just wandering around, David said lightly. Lintianu looked at Scarface and asked, Scarface, what's going on? Scar's face wasn't very clear either, so he could only tell what he knew in 1510. Lintianu was not stupid, he could understand what was going on just by guessing. Damn, using my name to cheat and kidnap here, damn it. Lintianu cursed, smashed the booth, threw this guy out with broken limbs, and never allowed to enter the Antique Street again. When the fat stall owner heard this, he was immediately frightened and slumped on the ground. Master Tiger, Lord Tiger, spare your life. The fat stall owner kept begging for mercy, but it was useless at all, and soon screams sounded, and the fat stall owner was carried away. Everyone was so scared that their faces turned pale, especially the nearby stall owners who had just yelled at David, and some of them were scared to pee their pants. Chapter 32. Scarface, let these people go, what's so beautiful? Lintianu said to the scarred face. Get out of here, there's nothing to see, and whoever of you dares to forcefully buy and forcefully sell in the future, this is the end. Scarface roared at everyone, scaring everyone to run away. Mr. Chen, don't know what you like. There's nothing good here, it's all street goods, and the real good things are still inside. Lintianu said to David. I want to buy a spirit pen in Cinnabar, I don't know if there are any here. David asked Lintianu. Lintianu was stunned for a moment, He didn't understand what the spirit pen David was talking about, and that cinnabar, wasn't it all over the place? But Lin Tianyu didn't dare to ask, so he could only respectfully say, Mr. Chen, I'll take you to a few antiques for a walk. You can see if there is anything you want. I don't know much about this business. Okay, lead the way. David nodded. Lin Tianyu personally led the way, and the bosses of the antique shops took out all the treasures of the housekeeping, but none of them were favored by David. This time, Lin Tianyu was in a bit of trouble. Mr. Chen, the antique street is so big. All the good things are here, and there is still nothing that Mr. Chen needs. Why don't I send the brothers to look for it elsewhere? Quote, no need, this kind of thing can be encountered but not asked for. Even if you encounter it, it's useless if you don't understand it. David waved his hand. It would be useless to ask more people to look for it. That's true. Lin Tianyu nodded. Go ahead, I should go back too. Since there is none, David doesn't want to stay any longer. But just as David was about to leave, Lin Tianyu seemed to remember something, and immediately stopped David and said, Mr. Chen, wait a minute. Anything else? David asked. Mr. Chen, I suddenly remembered that there is a place where there may be something you need. After Lin Tianyu finished speaking, he ordered someone to drive the car and asked David to get in the car. In the car, Lin Tianyu introduced him. It turned out that the place he took David to was a mansion. The owner of the mansion was Ji Wenchen, who was once a retired officer from the provincial government. After retreating, Ji Wenchen built a mansion in a beautiful place in Horrendal, and then took care of him for a long time. However, Ji Wenchen has a hobby, that is to collect antiques. In Ji Wenchen's yard, there are antiques everywhere, some of them are bought from abroad. Compared with Ji Wenchen's house, Antique Street is really not one of them. Class. David didn't expect that such a big man would still have such a big man in Horrendal. If it weren't for the fact that he had learned the skills from the old master for 3 years, the ordinary David would not have come into contact with these big men at all. Soon, the car stopped in a quaint house, and a servant hurried over, followed Lin Tianyu and whispered a few words, and ran back to the house. Soon, an old man with a gray beard and leaning on a cane walked out. After seeing Lin Tianyu, the old man laughed and said, It's a rare visitor to see Lord Tiger. Ancient, you are breaking me, just call me Xiaohu, or Lin Tianyu. In front of you, how dare I call myself a master? Lin Tianyu hurriedly took 2 steps forward to meet him, and said politely, the provincial government official, although he has retired, his energy is not small, so Lin Tianyu does not dare to offend him. After Ji Wenchen chatted with Lin Tianyu for a few words, he saw David beside him, looked at him and asked, Master Hu, this young man is a little shy, it's. Oh, this is Mr. Chen. This time, I took Mr. Chen to disturb Ji, and I hope Ji will not take offense. Lin Tianyu hurriedly explained. Hearing that Lin Tianyu addressed David, who was only in his early 20s, as Mr. Ji Wenchen's eyes flashed with surprise, but it was only fleeting. Chapter 33. Come in, you two. Ji Wenchen nodded slightly towards David. It was considered a greeting. In his opinion, a young descendant in his early 20s who can be called a gentleman by Lin Tianyu must be rich and powerful in his family, so he is so respected by Lin Tianyu, not because of his strength. Lin Tianyu and David walked into Ji Wenchen's house. As soon as they entered, David felt a burst of strong spiritual energy. There were several big trees in the yard that were thick enough to hug, blocking a large area of sunlight. Continue to walk forward, rockery and flowing water, buildings and pavilions, every place exudes a strong ancient fragrance. How old are these ancient trees? David looked at the big trees and couldn't help asking. Because these rich auras are all emitted from these big trees. Mr. Chen, these ancient trees are all hundreds of years old, and it is because of these trees that the ancient courtyard was built here. Lin Tianyu followed David to explain. David nodded slightly, and he understood why Ji Wenchen, a provincial official, chose to come to this little Horrendal to live in his old age. This place has plenty of aura, which is really suitable for old age, and living here for a long time, after being nourished by aura, the body will become younger and tougher. After passing through a corridor, Ji Wenchen led Lin Tianyu and David into the hall. The entire hall was filled with antique furniture, each with a history of over 100 years. There was even a dragon chair carved with 9 giant dragons. In the middle of the hall. There is a golden cushion on the dragon chair, and it seems that someone often sits on it. David frowned slightly at the dragon chair, and his expression became a little weird. Sit down, you two. Gu Wenchen waved his hand casually, and then sat directly on the dragon chair. After Lin Tianyu and David were seated, Gu Wenchen asked the servants to pour tea. Master Tiger, go to the Three Treasures Hall for everything. If you need the help of this old man, just say it. Gu Wenchen knew that Lin Tianyu was coming, so he must have something to look for. Lin Tianyu looked at David, and David said, we know that the ancients love to collect, so we want to ask whether there are spirit pens here in ancient times, the brushes used by ancient great writers, and the cinnabar made from animal blood. Ling pen. Gu Wenchen frowned slightly and thought. Ancient, of course we won't want ancient things for nothing, as long as there is ancient here, the price is as old as possible, and I, Lin Tianyu, will never pay back. Lin Tianyu hurriedly said in order to prevent Gu Wenchen from worrying. What did he say? Gu Wenchen smiled lightly. If I have it, it's okay to give it to you. Does money mean anything to me? Yes, yes, the ancients regarded money as dung. Lin Tianyu nodded again and again. Things like brushes are consumables, so it's almost impossible to keep used brushes. As for the cinnabar made of animal blood, I have never heard of it. Gu Wenchen shook his head, but then continued, but to find this kind of thing, maybe there are more Taoist temples than me here. After all, these Taoist priests need to draw talismans to exorcise ghosts, and the brushes they use may have spirituality. Quote. As soon as Gu Wenchen's words fell, David was instantly overjoyed, but he forgot about it. The brushes used by the Taoists to exorcise ghosts and draw talismans must have spirituality, including the cinnabar used, so go directly to the Taoist sect to find them. Why come to Antique Street to look around? Thank you for reminding Gu. David got up and gave Gu Wenchen a salute. Ha ha ha, you're welcome, I just mentioned it casually. Gu Wenchen laughed. Ancient, dare to ask the dragon chair under you, where did it come from? David asked. What? You can see how extraordinary this dragon chair is. Gu Wenchen said with a proud face, I bought this dragon chair from abroad with a lot of money. This is a real dragon chair, from the Ming dynasty. Something, the real dragon and the emperor sat on it. Gu Wenchen gently stroked the dragon chair under him, and it was obvious that he liked it very much. Chapter 34. The dragon chair is a status symbol, and it is quite imposing to sit under him. Although Gu Wenchen has collected a lot of things, this dragon chair is his favorite thing. Majesty. Ancient, I advise you to burn the dragon chair, maybe you can live longer. David persuaded Gu Wenchen. What do you mean? Gu Wenchen frowned. You're so young, are you cursing me to death? Gu Wenchen was angry. If it wasn't for Lin Tianyu's face, David would not have the right to enter his courtyard. Now this David is actually speaking falsely, how can Gu Wenchen not be angry? The ancients calm down, Mr. Chen must have his reasons for saying so. Lin Tianyu hurriedly stood up to dissuade Gu Wenchen, then looked at David and said, since Mr. Chen sees some clues, I hope he can truthfully explain that Gu is not an outsider. Of course Lin Tianyu knew that David had the ability, otherwise he would be the master of the dragon sect. Boy, you can't tell the reason today, no one can save you. Gu Wenchen snorted coldly and stood up from the dragon chair. David was not in a hurry, and smiled lightly. This dragon chair is really a thing of the emperor, and it is indeed a thing of the Ming dynasty. It's a pity that this dragon chair is full of resentment. If I am not wrong, the former emperor wants it is to die on this dragon chair, otherwise there will be no such great resentment. The reason why I didn't feel anything when sitting on the dragon chair in ancient times is because this place is full of spiritual energy, and it is a land of outstanding places. It temporarily suppressed the resentment on the dragon chair, but now the 9 dragons on the dragon chair are full of resentment. If you keep it, I'm afraid you will die soon. Didn't you see that the 9 dragon heads on the dragon chair are faintly black? After David finished speaking, Gu Wenchen shuddered in consciousness, and hurriedly looked at his dragon chair. Sure enough, he saw that the color of the 9 dragon heads was a little different from other places, and it became a little black. Boy, don't bluff me. This faucet's blackening is also caused by oxidation for a long time. What kind of resentment is rushing? It's just nonsense. Gu asked. The weather suddenly slapped the table and said, "If you don't believe me, forget it." David smiled disdainfully. "I wanted to save your life for the sake of you reminding me, but you didn't appreciate it. Maybe this is your fate. Don't look at you feeling well now. But every night you will have nightmares, dreaming that you are trapped by pythons, and finally wake up from suffocation. You have had such a dream for at least a month." After David finished speaking, he turned around and left. Mr. Chen. Lin Tianyu looked embarrassed and hurriedly chased after him. At this time, Gu Wenchen stood there in a daze, and now he has already shaken the river and the sea. To know what he was dreaming, he had never mentioned it to anyone. How could David know it, and he knew it so carefully? Wait a moment. Gu Wenchen quickly chased after him and stopped David. "What? Am I right?" David asked Gu Wenchen. Gu Wenchen was full of embarrassment, and finally nodded and said, "Little, Mr. Chen is right. I have been plagued by nightmares recently, and I have the same dream every day. It has been bothering me for a long time. The python in the dream is the 9 dragons on the dragon chair. Now the 9 dragons are full of grievances, and they have not completely turned black. If the 9 dragons turn black, even if Da Luo Jingxian descends to the world, I am afraid that they will not be able to save you." David said lightly. "Then, what should I do now?" Gu Wenchen already had confidence in David at this time. "To burn this dragon chair, you can't burn it with ordinary fire, but use paper money to light the dragon chair, and burn it thoroughly," David said. This, Gu Wenchen looked at the dragon chair, his eyes were full of regret. "You must know that this dragon chair was bought from abroad after a lot of effort, and it suddenly burned down." Gu Wenchen was a little reluctant. So he asked David, "Mr. Chen, besides burning the dragon chair, is there any other way?" Chapter 35. Yes. David nodded. "I can suck away the resentment on the dragon chair and eliminate these resentful dragons." When Gu Wenchen heard this, he was overjoyed, then asked Mr. Chen to do it. "Why should I help you? In your opinion, am I not a liar?" David sneered. When Gu Wenchen heard this, he immediately said with a face full of shame, "Mr. Chen, it's the old man Meng Lang. I don't know how he offended Mr. Chen. I hope Mr. Chen will not care about it and can save the old man's life." Gu Wenchen's attitude is very sincere, and his face is sincerely begging David. Seeing this, Lin Tianyu also said to David, "Mr. Chen, Gu has no intention of offending, and I hope that Mr. Chen will help Gu, and we will still be able to use ancient places in the future." Lin Tianyu's meaning is obvious, that is, Jui Hall is developing in Horendal, and there is still a place where Gu Wenchen can be used. Now that David is helping Gu Wenchen, it can be regarded as helping Taipei Hall himself. In the future, as long as Mr. Chen is useful to get the old man's place, I am bound to. Gu Wenchen expresses his position quickly. Seeing this, David nodded and said, "I'll help you kill these resentful dragons." With that said, David walked to the dragon chair, and suddenly pressed a hand on the head of a dragon, and then a strange scene happened. I saw the carved dragon, and at this time it began to glow with a faint golden light. Immediately after, a dragon roar sounded, and the sound was very miserable. Lin Tianyu and Gu Wenchen were both shocked. They saw that under the golden light, the 9 dragons all moved, and then they all rose into the air. The 9 dragons exuded black energy and glared at David angrily. It seems that David ruined their good things. In an instant, the entire hall was enveloped in black air, and Lin Tianyu and Gu Wenchen suddenly had difficulty breathing. Several 100-year-old trees in the yard also seemed to sense something, and they started to move automatically without wind, and the leaves clattered into a ball. Lin Tianyu and Gu Wenchen stared at the giant dragon in stunned eyes. Especially Gu Wenchen, his whole body was soaked wet. "This is the dragon chair he sits on every day. There is such an evil thing in it, thinking about it makes me feel scared. A few broken dragons, who have transformed into resentment, dare to go wild." David's expression was indifferent, and he saw that he flicked his hands, and the golden light instantly disappeared into the bodies of those giant dragons. Immediately afterwards, another dragon roar sounded, and several giant dragons disappeared, turning into a cloud of black air, shrouded in David. David opened his mouth and inhaled suddenly. All the black air was sucked into his stomach by David. In an instant, calm was restored in the hall. The concentration technique taught by Irvin is really a good thing, and it can even refine grievances. David was overjoyed. In addition to refining spiritual energy, this condensing heart art can be refined into its own strength, whether it is resentment or anger. Just now that these grievances were over, David could feel that his strength had improved a lot. After a while, Gu Wenchen woke up from the shock, and hurriedly stepped forward and bowed to David. "Thank you, Mr. Chen, for saving your life, I will never forget it." "You're welcome, you and I each ask what we need." David waved his hand. This resentment is absorbed and refined, which is more effective than David's practice for 10 days and a half months. Gu Wenchen was stunned for a moment. He didn't understand what David meant, but he didn't dare to ask in detail. After all, for an immortal like David, many things were incomprehensible to ordinary people. "Mr. Chen, then this dragon chair." Gu Wenchen looked at the dragon chair and asked carefully. "Now this dragon chair has become an ordinary chair, and it has no other use except to satisfy your psychology, but it is a few ancient trees in the yard, you need to take care of them carefully, they are your longevity and health. The foundation of the body." David looked at a few ancient trees outside and said, "It's a pity that this kind of ancient tree can't be transplanted," otherwise David really wanted to get a few to go to the top of Pine Bay, the aura emanating from this ancient tree can just help him cultivate.
Please subscribe to follow the next more exciting chapters.